At Falcon Tech Industries, Monday mornings usually meant deadlines and coffee-fueled hustle. But this Monday was different. A mysterious figure rolled into the sleek glass lobby in a wheelchair, his sharp blue suit and calm demeanor commanding quiet curiosity. The man was Robert King, Falcon Tech's new CEO. But he had no intention of announcing himself. Instead, he had made a bold decision to walk, or rather, roll into his company unnoticed to see its true colors. Meanwhile, Susan, the headstrong HR manager, strode through the office with her usual air of superiority. She wasn't one for second chances, especially not for those she deemed beneath her. Without hesitation, she spotted the man in the wheelchair and immediately approached, her voice dripping with condescension. "This area is for employees only," she snapped. But Robert's steady gaze didn't waver, and for a brief moment her words hung in the air, unanswered. What Susan didn't know, and couldn't imagine, was that her careless assumptions were about to unravel her career in front of the entire office. The channel Real Life Stories now invites you to witness a story of justice, transformation, and the power of unexpected truths. What will happen when the woman who enforces workplace rules finds herself at the mercy of the very rules she just dismissed? Keep watching to find out. Susan's heels clicked sharply against the polished floor as she scanned the office, her sharp gaze darting between employees. Her reputation as a strict HR manager had been earned through years of dismissive comments, cold stares, and decisions that left no room for empathy. Today, however, she had no idea her actions would come under the spotlight in ways she never anticipated. When she first saw the man in the wheelchair near the lobby, her annoyance flared instantly. He didn't belong, at least not in her carefully managed version of Falcon Tech. Striding toward him with her practiced authority, she ignored his confident posture and the sharpness of his tailored blue suit. "Excuse me," she said curtly, tilting her head just enough to appear both impatient and condescending. "This area is for employees only. Let me help you find the way out." Robert King, calm and composed, tilted his head slightly, his gaze locked on Susan, measuring her every word and movement. "Actually," he said evenly, "I'm exactly where I need to be." The air between them grew tense, but Susan either didn't notice or didn't care. Her lips twisted into a faint, dismissive smile as she crossed her arms. "I don't know how you managed to get past security, but this is a private space. You can't just—" Before she could finish, a voice cut through the tension. "Susan, what are you doing?" Emma, the regional manager, approached in near panic, her face pale. Unlike Susan, Emma knew exactly who this man was. She had been briefed on the CEO's unconventional plan, and the realization of what was unfolding in front of her made her stomach drop. "What am I doing?" Susan replied, her tone sharp and defensive. "I'm dealing with someone who doesn't belong here." Emma's voice cracked as she blurted, "That's Mr. Robert King. He's our new CEO." The words landed like a thunderclap. For a moment, the bustling office seemed to freeze. Employees nearby stopped in their tracks, some whispering, others wide-eyed as they turned to watch the drama unfold. Susan's confident expression faltered, replaced by a growing pallor. Her arms dropped stiffly to her sides as her mind raced to process the humiliation sinking in. Robert leaned forward slightly in his wheelchair, his expression unreadable, but his presence undeniable. His voice, steady and razor-sharp, cut through the silence. "It's interesting," he began, his words deliberate and calm, "how people reveal themselves when they think no one's watching. Respect isn't just a company policy, it's a necessity. And it seems you've forgotten that." Susan's hands fumbled as she tried to muster a response. I didn't mean," she stammered, her voice faltering under the weight of his unwavering gaze. But it was too late. The whispers around her grew louder, and the judgment in the eyes of her coworkers was impossible to ignore. Emma, still standing nearby, looked on with a mix of relief and dread. While Susan's arrogance had long been a source of tension in the office, witnessing her downfall so publicly was a reminder of how fragile power can be when built on fear and prejudice. As Robert addressed the gathered employees, his calm authority turned into a rallying call. "This company is built on innovation," he said, scanning the room. "But innovation means nothing without inclusivity. Discrimination of any kind will never have a place here. Change starts now." The employees erupted into applause, their faces lighting up with a renewed sense of hope. Meanwhile, Susan stood frozen, her world crumbling as the weight of her actions and their consequences became undeniable. Each moment was a reminder that the path she had taken, one paved with arrogance and disregard for others, had led her here, and there was no turning back. As the applause subsided and the room grew quiet again, Robert King took a final moment to look out at his team. The tension that had gripped the office just minutes ago had been replaced with a sense of hope and possibility. "This isn't just about one person," Robert said, his voice steady but filled with conviction. "It's about who we are as a company and as individuals. Every one of us deserves respect, and every one of us has the responsibility to give it." The employees exchanged glances, some nodding in agreement, others looking introspective. Susan, meanwhile, stood near the corner, her earlier confidence replaced with visible regret. She had spent years tearing others down, but for the first time, she seemed to grasp the weight of her actions. It was too late to undo the harm, but the lesson was undeniable. Power used to belittle others ultimately crumbles under its own weight. As Robert wheeled out of the meeting room, his presence left a ripple of change behind him. Emma, the regional manager, felt a renewed determination to lead with compassion. The employees, inspired by Robert's words, carried a new energy as they returned to their desks, eager to build something greater together. Falcon Tech had always been a leader in innovation, but now it was poised to become a leader in integrity as well. Later that evening, as the office lights dimmed and employees packed up for the day, Robert remained in his office. His actions had sent a clear message, but his work was far from over. For Robert, creating a culture of respect wasn't about a single moment, it was about consistency, day after day. This story isn't just about Falcon Tech. It's a reminder for all of us to stand up against prejudice and treat every individual with dignity, no matter their role or appearance. If you've ever seen or experienced a moment when justice prevailed, share your story in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this message.